Thanks for staying with us. You're watching WION The World as well. I'm Adya Juneja and this is Speed News. Let's start with all the stories making headlines today. US President Donald Trump said US would obtain enriched uranium from Iran as the two countries attempt to reach an agreement on ending the war. Well, Donald Trump also said earlier that he believes the deal with Iran is very possible but threatened to again bomb the country if negotiations fell apart. But Iran is yet to respond to a new US proposal to end the war, with its chief negotiator warning that Washington was seeking to force the Islamic Republic's surrender. The US military said a US warplane fired on and disabled the rudder of an oil tanker that was attempting to breach blockade of Iranian ports. It is the second such incident since the blockade began on April 13th. Gaza health officials said Israeli strikes killed 6 people and wounded several others across the Palestinian territory. A strike in Al-Daraj killed 1 person and injured 10 others, including the son of Hamas chief negotiator Khalil al-Haya. France has released footage of its Charles de Gaulle aircraft carrier crossing Suez Canal as its carrier strike group deployed to the Red Sea. Well, the move aims to pre-position for a potential mission to secure the Strait of Hormuz. A federal judge in New York has released a document purported to be a suicide note written by Jeffrey Epstein. Well, the purported note offers the public its first look at the text that has remained concealed within court records since 2019. The note, which does not bear a signature, was unsealed on Wednesday by Judge Kenneth Karras of Federal District Court in White Plains, New York, who presided over the criminal case of Epstein's former cellmate. Russia has warned foreign embassies to evacuate staff from Kiev, threatening retaliation if Moscow's May 9th Victory Day celebrations come under attack. Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova said diplomatic missions should treat Moscow's warning with utmost responsibility and ensure personnel leave Kiev in time. Well, Moscow says any Ukrainian attempt to disrupt Victory Day events could trigger strikes, including against decision-making centers in Kiev. Well, the warning comes ahead of Russia's annual May 9th parade, which is one of the Kremlin's most politically symbolic events. President Volodymyr Zelensky said Ukraine would respond in kind to continued Russian strikes, accusing Moscow of prioritizing the May 9th victory parade over efforts to end the war. Well, Ukraine says Russia launched more than 100 drones and multiple missiles overnight, violating the unilateral ceasefire led by Kiev. In the northeastern city of Sumy, 2 people were killed after Russian drones struck a kindergarten building, and in Kharkiv, strikes ignited fire and damaged civilian homes. North Korea's UN envoy reaffirmed that the country is not bound by the Non-Proliferation Treaty and declared its nuclear arms status irreversible, citing its constitution. Pyongyang withdrew from the NPT in 1993 and formally in 2003. Well, it has since conducted 6 nuclear tests and is believed to hold dozens of warheads despite sanctions. At the UN's NPT review meeting, envoy Kim Song rejected US criticism, insisting external pressure that cannot alter North Korea's nuclear position. Former South Korean Prime Minister Han Duck-soo, initially sentenced to 23 years for his role in the December 3rd martial law, saw his prison term reduced to 15 years in the appellate trial. Well, the decision was handed down on by the Seoul High Court's criminal decision 12-1 under presiding judge Lee Sung-chol. Well, the court reviewed Han's role in carrying out key tasks related to the insurrection before announcing the reduced sentence. Bolivian police clashed with teachers near the presidential palace in La Paz as three protest groups converged ahead of the government talks, underscoring rising unrest over labor, education and agrarian reforms. While teachers demanded higher pay and rejected decentralization, while the Central Obrera Boliviana declared an indefinite strike and symbolically occupied the labor ministry. Indigenous and peasant groups, after a 29-day march, protested outside the vice presidency against Law 1720, which they argue threatens collective land rights and promotes deforestation. Well, the government defended the law as a credit access measure, but Foreign Minister Fernando Armayo denounced the demonstrations as destabilization attempts encouraged by NGOs and union leaders seeking to regain political influence. In a solemn ceremony steeped in tradition, Pope Leo XIV presided over the swearing-in of the new recruits of the Pontifical Swiss Guard. Well, 28 young men representing cantons across Switzerland pledged their loyalty to the Pope and the Church, reciting the oath in German, French or Italian. Well, dressed in their iconic Renaissance-style uniforms, the guards vow to defend the Pope with their lives. The ceremony, held each year on May 6th, commemorates the 1527 sack of Rome, when Swiss guards died protecting Pope Clement VII. A cruise ship hit by a deadly hantavirus outbreak and marooned since Sunday off the coast of Cape Verde has left for Spain. Well, this comes after 3 people, 2 of them seriously ill, were evacuated. The MV Honduras, with nearly 150 people on board, is expected to dock in Spain within 3 days. Spain's Health Minister Monica Garcia said that those still on board were not presenting any symptoms of the disease. ASEAN foreign ministers converged for a summit in the Philippines. The year's host, Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., has ordered the gathering to be stripped of the traditional pomp and forgetry in keeping with the economic headwinds worldwide. Southeast Asian leaders will outline a plan to cope with crises like the energy shortages caused by the war in West Asia. Peruvian ultra-conservative presidential candidate Rafael Lopez Aliaga joined protesters marching through Lima on Wednesday. Well, this as the protesters demanded new elections and denounced alleged irregularities in the 2026 vote. Well, the march formed part of the so-called March for Democracy and headed towards the headquarters of the National Electoral Jury. In a dramatic escalation in post-poll violence in West Bengal, BJP leader Suvendu Adhikari's close aide and personal assistant Chandranath Rath has been shot dead in an attack in North 24 Parganas district's Madhyam Gram. Well, according to reports, Rath was returning to his home when his car was stopped by men in a vehicle in the Doharia area. A man came close to the car window and fired 3 rounds at him. While Rath died on the spot, his driver sustained serious injuries. Both were taken to the SSKM hospital in Kolkata, where Rath was declared brought dead. In a separate incident of post-poll violence, BJP worker Rohit Roy has reportedly been shot at allegedly by TMC-sheltered miscreants in the Basirat area of North 24 Parganas. Well, the victim has been moved to the Basirat State Front Hospital with bullet injuries in his abdominal area. His condition is reported to be critical but stable. Well, since the announcement of the results of the assembly election, both the BJP and TMC have accused each other of deliberately targeting their workers in incidents of post-poll violence. The Bihar cabinet is set to expand today and preparations are underway at Patna's Gandhi Maidan. Nishant Kumar, former Chief Minister Nitish Kumar's son, is likely to be among the 2,000 new ministers from the BJP, the JDU and 3 smaller allies. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Union Home Minister Amit Shah and BJP National President Nitin Nabin and his predecessor, Union Health Minister JP Nadda, are among those expected to attend the ceremony besides Nitish. The Indian Air Force has released a video marking the first anniversary of Operation Sindoor. Well, the video was posted on X with the title, "India Forgets Nothing, India Forgives Nothing." Well, the 1-minute 28-second video was posted at exactly 1:05 a.m. The same time the operation started on the night of May 6th and 7th last year. Well, the video shows the tri-services preparing for Operation Sindoor and destroying terror launch pads in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The video ends with message that Operation Sindoor still continues. Google has offered to change its search spam policy after criticism from European publishers and scrutiny from EU regulators. The issue centers around Google's site reputation abuse policy targeting so-called parasite SEO practices. Publishers have accused Google of unfairly demoting their websites and content in search results. The European Commission opened an investigation into the policy last year under the EU's Digital Markets Act. Regulators said the policy could harm legitimate ways publishers earn money through commercial content partnerships. Elon Musk's SpaceX has signed a deal with AI company Anthropic to provide access to its massive AI supercomputer Colossus One. The partnership brings together 2 major players in the global artificial intelligence race. SpaceX said Anthropic will use the extra computing power to boost capacity for its Cloud Pro and Cloud Max AI assistants. But the company added that Anthropic is also interested in working with SpaceX on future orbital AI computing projects. New details have emerged from the legal battle between Elon Musk and OpenAI over the company's early power struggle. OpenAI President Greg Brockman testified about a 2017 meeting where Musk demanded full control of the company. Brookman said Musk became angry after other founders refused to hand over control of OpenAI. According to the testimony, Musk said, "I declined" before leaving the meeting and later stopped funding the company. Japan's Nikkei 225 surged past the 62,000 mark for the first time, leading gains across Asia-Pacific markets despite renewed West Asia tensions. Technology and financial stocks powered the rally, with SoftBank and major chip-related firms posting double-digit gains. Markets looked past US President Donald Trump's warning that Iran could face heavier military action if peace talks fail, as investors focused on signs of a possible agreement between Washington and Tehran. Meanwhile, Hong Kong and mainland China markets also advanced, while South Korean stocks slipped slightly after surging past 7,500. Well, speaking of South Korea now, the South Korean market has overtaken Canada to become the world's seventh largest stock market, driven by booming demand for AI chips. The market value of Korean-listed companies has surged more than 70% this year to nearly $4.6 trillion, outpacing Canada's growth. Tech giants Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix have led the rally, with both stocks more than doubled in value amid the global artificial intelligence boom. Gold prices remain steady near a one-week high as investors awaited more clarity on a possible US-Iran peace agreement. Markets stayed cautious after reports suggested Washington and Tehran were moving closer to a deal that could ease tensions in West Asia. But at the same time, strong US jobs data and concerns over inflation linked to the conflict kept expectations for Federal Reserve rate cuts uncertain. Meanwhile, global stocks hit fresh records, while oil and the US dollar weakened amid optimism over a potential diplomatic breakthrough. Football's global governing body FIFA has accepted UEFA's request for a worldwide ban on Benfica winger Gianluca Prestiani. Well, the Argentine footballer was handed a 6-game ban last month after he admitted using homophobic language towards Real Madrid's Vinicius during their Champions League match in February. So the 20-year-old will miss Argentina's first 2 matches of this summer's World Cup if selected. India has formalized the sports policy for ties with Pakistan. The new policy clearly bans any bilateral ties but opens the door for Pakistani athletes to compete in India at international sporting events. Well, on Tuesday, the Sports Ministry confirmed that Pakistani players and teams will be able to participate in multilateral events hosted by India, while also signaling a more supportive visa regime for athletes, officials and international federation representatives. However, the policy draws a firm line between bilateral and multilateral sport. Remember, no bilateral cricket has taken place between India and Pakistan since the year 2013, and the two teams only play each other in multi-team tournaments. Thousands of fans packed Mexico City's Zocalo to catch a glimpse of BTS, who appeared on a balcony of the National Palace after meeting President Claudia Sheinbaum. Members RM and V addressed the crowd in Spanish, thanking fans for their support and sharing excitement for upcoming shows. Well, the group is set to perform in Mexico City on May 7th, 9th and 10th. Season 5 of the Emmy-winning series The Bear will be its final season. The final installment is set to premiere on June 25th. Created by Christopher Storer, the series debuted in 2022 and follows a fine dining chef who returns home to Chicago to run his family's struggling sandwich shop. Well, The Bear has earned acclaim for its sharp wit and unflinching exploration of trauma, grappling with themes such as suicide, alcoholism, and anxiety while balancing intensity with humor. The television adaptation of Harry Potter has been granted an early second season renewal before the release of its first season. This new season will bring the second part of the book, Chamber of Secrets, to life. Production of the series have been scheduled to begin this year to keep the cast and story moving at a brisk pace. The first season, starring Dominic McLaughlin as Harry Potter, remains on track for the high-profile Christmas release this year. Director Guillermo del Toro has officially received the BFI Fellowship, which is the highest honour bestowed by the British Film Institute. During a ceremony in London, the Academy Award winner was celebrated for his extraordinary contribution to film culture and his unique ability to blend the monstrous with his beautiful lines. Well, the honour follows the 2025 release of his acclaimed interpretation of Frankenstein. In a powerhouse pairing of indie and blockbuster talent, Scarlett Johansson has signed on to lead Scapegoat, the next project from director Ari Aster. But the film's plot remains largely under wraps, though it is described as a high-concept genre piece that fits Aster's signature unsettling style. Well, this marks the first collaboration between the actress and the director. Well, that is it in this edition. News and updates will continue on the other side. Keep watching WION World is One.